Hello, it's Dr. Rhonda Johnson. Today is Thursday, March 4th, 2021. Today I'm going to be discussing the Johnson & Johnson new vaccine and the controversy over the aborted fetal cell lines. Well, first I want to clarify something. You may have heard this vaccine referred to as the Janssen vaccine or the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. Well, Janssen Pharmaceuticals was purchased by Johnson & Johnson, which is based in New Jersey, in 1961. So it's basically should be considered a research and development arm of Johnson & Johnson. Now, to move on to the controversy. Just like everything else in COVID-19 world, from the pandemic to the vaccine, this one has its own controversy. Some Catholic bishops here in the United States have released a statement to discourage Catholic members from getting the Johnson & Johnson vaccine when alternatives are available. The U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops, as well as at least 6 other dioceses from across the United States, have released statements expressing moral concerns over the shot due to the fact that it used lab-grown cells that descend from aborted fetuses. Their statement expresses their concern. They say that Johnson & Johnson vaccine was developed, tested, and produced with abortion-derived cell lines, which raise moral concerns. The Congregation for the Doctrine of the Faith has judged that when ethically irreproachable COVID-19 vaccines are not available, it is morally acceptable to receive COVID-19 vaccines that have used cell lines from aborted fetuses in their research and production process. However, if one can choose among equally safe and effective COVID-19 vaccines, the vaccine with the least connection to the abortion-derived cell line should be chosen. Therefore, if one has the ability to choose a vaccine, Pfizer or Moderna's vaccine should be chosen over Johnson & Johnson's. Now, Johnson & Johnson Company came back and issued their own statement, and their statement says that there is no fetal tissue in our Janssen COVID-19 vaccine. Our COVID-19 vaccine is derived from an inactivated, non-infective adenovirus vector, which codes for the coronavirus spike protein. Johnson & Johnson also says that they are able to manufacture hundreds of millions of doses using their engineered cell line system that enables the rapid production of new viral vaccines to combat many of the most dangerous infectious diseases. Okay, I shared the Catholic bishop's statement. I shared the Johnson & Johnson statement. And now you're going to hear the Rhonda Johnson explanation of this controversy. Now, I'll start off by saying I looked at the package insert. And the Johnson & Johnson vaccine uses that replication incompetent virus, meaning a human adenovirus that can no longer reproduce itself. This is the same virus that's used for other vaccines, Ebola, Zika, and an experimental HIV vaccine. Now, to manufacture this virus that's used to contain the spike protein from the SARS-CoV-2 virus, it has to be grown in human cells. You've heard me say many, many times, viruses by themselves cannot exist without a host. So a host for a human virus is a human cell. So the virus is grown in, again, this is the adenovirus vector, the transport vector. It's grown in a cell line that's called PER.C6. This is a commercially available cell line that can be bought and purchased. It's used for a lot of biological research and drug therapy, including gene therapy, monoclonal antibody therapy, and lots of therapeutic proteins used to treat certain diseases. Now, this PER-C6 cell line is derived from human embryonic retinal cells that originally came from an 18-week-old aborted fetus in 1985. These cell lines are 36 years old. They have been modified, transformed, purified, and re-engineered through millions and millions of cycles of cell replications. And folks, they no longer contain any fetal tissue. These are lab manufactured cell lines now. And many pharmaceutical products, including anti-cancer drugs, are derived from research that involves using well-established human cell lines, many of which come from aborted fetal tissue. This is 100% factual. These established cell lines are grown in labs. Think of them as cell line manufacturing laboratories using highly skilled professionals whose expertise involves cell line replication. I don't consider them fetal tissue because they're no longer connected, many of these cell lines. They're old, well-established cell lines. The facts are the Johnson & Johnson vaccine does not contain any animal-derived proteins or fetal tissue. What's in this vaccine? Well, if you look at the submission of the document to the FDA, it contains a recombinant adenovirus type 26 vector that expresses the SARS-CoV-2 spike protein in a stabilized conformation. What is a stabilized conformation? It's the virus, the vaccine, and inactive ingredients. These inactive ingredients include common chemicals used to stabilize vaccines, such as citric acid monohydrate, trisodium citrate dihydrate, ethanol, 2-hydroxypropyl beta cyclodextrin, polysorbate 80, sodium chloride, sodium hydroxide, and hydrochloric acid. Most people have no clue what that stuff is, but they're stabilizers. They stabilize vaccines. And they're not harmful because the amounts that are used are so small. So again, this virus vector, the adenovirus 26 vector, that has the spike protein in it, that makes up the ingredient for the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. The virus is grown in human cell lines, this PER.C6, which is a registered trademark cell line. It's grown in media that contains amino acids, and no animal-derived proteins. So this is the explanation. I understand the sensitivity. I understand that many people do not know that human cell lines are widely used in the process of making pharmaceutical and biologically effective treatments. The use of these cell lines is so advanced and it's extensive. There are many commercially available cell lines that are used. These cell lines are maintained with the highest quality and purification and have led to many life-saving medical treatments. It is my hope that this controversy does not prevent people from getting the Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine. I've said many times, please get the first vaccine that you can get when your turn in the line comes up. We know these vaccines are safe. We know that they will prevent you from getting seriously ill from COVID-19. They will prevent you from being on a ventilator from COVID-19, and they will keep you out of the morgue from COVID-19. That's my message today. My views are my own. Stay safe and have a blessed day.